Now we're going to close the side seam, and there are two options now to do this, because you either have got your cap sleeve already in, like on this example here, and you have got everything closed off, or you've left it all open and the sleeve is still to go in at this point. So what you would do then in that case is to close the seams separately, right? And sew that together. But for most of my instructions in here for the videos, I've done it like this. So I put the cap sleeve in, we have got the armhole closed, and we're then going on to closing the side seam, and we're closing it so that we do it in one go. Now I have seen it that some people were just sewing it together, so you have a seam to the outside even though you have lining. Don't do that, okay? You want it completely smooth, and I'm going to show you now how to do it in one go. It's really, really simple, and I doubt you'll ever do it in a different way. So let's get started. The key here is to grab the separate layers and put them together. So we're putting the upper material of the bodice front and back on top of each other along the seam. It's really simple. If you grab the side seam and open it out from the lining and the upper material and you put those together and secure them with a pin, you're basically on the path to victory for the side seam. So what you want to do now is to just close it right to the end through all the layers, and when we iron those apart, of course, we've got the seam lovely and enclosed, and it will look really super. There we go. Now all we have to do is close it, and when we do, look, it'll be absolutely clean. And this is the way that you should do a lot of your stuff when you're sewing. You should try this method. It really is brilliant, especially when you do jersey clothes. That makes it so much easier, like a lined jersey dress. So now let's do it again. Put the side seams on top of each other, and instead of going across there, which is a real no-no, lift off the lining from the back, lift off the lining from the front, put the front and back together so that the lining hangs separate, and then just pin it all the way across, starting with the center pin right where the seams meet. You want to put a pin vertical to the seam in there so that that can't move. That's important. And then we can close this. The seam allowance is again 1 centimeter, but this is a very good way also if you want to make it slightly tighter in the bodice fit or slightly bigger, because you could go almost all the way to the edge to make it a little bit bigger, or you could make it a little bit smaller. Both is possible here, and that is the beauty of this as well. In this area, however, you sometimes can get tension. So it's very important to snip here right to the seam, and I would do it at an angle, obviously not straight, so there's no fraying. Do it on the other side as well. And then when you turn it, it will lie flat. Iron those seams apart over the edge of your ironing board so that you don't accidentally iron something that you don't want to iron. Both sides, lots of steam, lots of heat, and then fold it over and give it another press, and you have a beautiful result here, as you can see. Now I'm also going to do something with my little collar, because it's popping up a little bit and flapping. So what you can do is with a few hand stitches secure this, and the way to do that is to fold over the corner a little bit and then secure your thread. I'm hiding it behind the pin tuck, and then secure it just through the lining of your collar. Of course, if you top stitch the collar down, that also works, but I'm not doing that here at all because I think it's a very fine garment and I didn't want top stitching on it. There we go. Few more stitches and that collar will go absolutely nowhere and look pristine and lovely. That's it for the side seams, and we can now move on to the next chapter and actually sew our skirts. So I see you there.